Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. I am Judge Melanie Williams. Today is February the 25th of 2022. This is the State Expedited Accusations calendar. This calendar is for those individuals who have been recently arrested, but the cases have already been formally accused and bound over to state court. I want to make sure I see courtroom 2 is present on the screen. I want to make sure courtroom 2 can see and hear me. Courtroom 2, are we there? All right, I wanted to make sure that everyone in courtroom 2 could see and hear me before I advise the defendants of their rights. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have a right to an attorney at this proceeding today. This proceeding is also being broadcast over the internet and live streamed. That means that any member of the public can log on and watch this proceeding. It also is being recorded, as we've just been reminded. Those who receive a surety or cash bond today will be reset to the SAP calendar on March the 10th, 2022. Those who receive a signature bond will be reset further notice to division judges. All right, are there any announcements from either the state or defense before we get started, or any attorneys that need to speak with their clients and they have not yet had the opportunity to do so? All right, if not, who do we have first at courtroom 2?
Your Honor, I have one quick announcement. Position number 12, Ms. Priscilla Williams is going to be a MH reset.
Okay, who represents Ms. Williams? Is it you, Ms. Kim? Ms. Kim, you're muted. Would you be willing to waive her appearance such that we could reset her to the SAP calendar? Have you had the opportunity to speak with her?
We tried, however, it has not been successful, and my supervisor is on the way, actually. That's our next step. But she has been very difficult for a judge to, the jail people to even bring the
right, I understand. I want to reset her to SAP and give her a bond if possible. But I'm hoping to waive her appearance today, but we can discuss that further.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, who do we have first at courtroom 2?
We have position number 11, Ms. Jade Smith.
Are you Jade Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, your case is 22 CR 001057G, in which you're charged with 1 count of battery family violence with an offense dated February the 24th. You've heard me advise you of your rights to remain silent and to an attorney. Do you object to a video hearing today?
No, ma'am.
Do you object to your attorney assisting you by video?
No, ma'am.
And clarify, Ms. Kim, this is your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
7 total. History out of Michigan and Indiana. 2020, assault excluding sexual out of Michigan. Got 2013 in Indiana for battery resulting in body injury. That was a conviction. 2013 criminal trespass guilty. 2014 disorderly conduct guilty. Another 2014 disorderly conduct guilty. 2020 possession of marijuana conviction. And a 2020 probation violation. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Mitchell, good to see you. Good afternoon. Is this your
Good
case?
afternoon. Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And what
Yep.
is the state's recommendation?
The state's recommendation is going to be a $4,000 surety bond, no further contact with Miss Chantel, spelled Shantell, Stewart, a stay away from address 1923 Hemingway Lane, Roswell, Georgia, a one-day anger awareness program, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, in this case, defendant battered her girlfriend, whom she lives with, Miss Stewart, by pushing her to the ground and pressing a metal spoon to her neck, causing redness and irritation to the skin. It started with a verbal dispute between them about a cell phone. The defendant threatened to kill herself, grabbed a knife, and locked herself in another room. When Miss Stewart fled from the apartment, that's when defendant chased after her vehicle on foot. The state's concern here is defendant's risk of reoffending. As heard from pretrial, she's a multi-state offender with convictions in Indiana that include the battery in 2013 and the 2 disorderly conduct in 2014. And the assault case in Michigan from 2020 appears to be an open case as well. We're also concerned that defendant is a flight risk. She has an outstanding warrant for failure to appear out of Ringgold, Georgia, issued on November 13th of 2020, and a probation violation in Indiana in 2020. Based on her history, it appears she's in flight from her crimes in both Indiana and Michigan, and we don't want her to flee this crime in Georgia. She also appears to lack sufficient ties in Georgia, being that she's from Indiana and a majority of her history comes out of Indiana. So that's going to be the basis of our recommendation.
Thank you. Ms. Kim, it's good to
Yes.
see you as well.
Thank
What is the defense's recommendation for Ms. Smith's bond?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Smith is 29 years old. And yes, she came from Michigan on June 2021. And she has been working for a temp service integrity. Before that, she was working for Coca-Cola. And she has a basically temp service work that she can just continuously work. However, last whole month, she has not had much project because of COVID-19, and also they are kind of slow. That being said, that she does not have much savings right now, so she really needs have a lower bond, and she has a job interview set up on Monday, and she also has to continue her therapy next week. So we would like to request for a $300 surety bond, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. At this time, I'm going to sound for the victim, last name Stewart. Ms. Stewart, if you're present on the screen and would like to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so. You are not required to do so, however. Do you wish to make a statement, Ms. Stewart?
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes, before you speak, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today that will be the truth under the penalty of perjury and to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what would you like to tell the court?
I want to be able to contact her. I really just wanted her to get some help. And now that she has the help with her therapy, I think we will be okay. I don't want any problems with her. I don't want her to be charged with anything. I've been calling all day trying to get the charges dropped, and I couldn't do anything about it.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Thank you, Ms. Stewart. I appreciate that. Now that I've permitted Ms. Stewart to speak, is there anything further from the state of defense?
I do, Your Honor, actually. The 1923 Hemingway Lane is actually the complaining witness, Ms. Stewart, does not live there anymore. Actually, she moved out from there, so I don't think a stay away is necessary at this point, Your Honor.
Ms. Stewart, reminding you that you are still under oath at this time. Do you currently reside at that Hemingway address?
Yes, I do. That's why I don't want the no contact order or the stay away order. I spoke to someone on the phone about the victim hotline or something like that, and they said that they could do like a violence order on her, like she can be in contact with me, but no violence. She said
Okay.
something about that. I spoke with her maybe just a short half hour ago.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. I understand. I just wanted you to know if you still lived at that address. All right, is there anything further, Ms. Mitchell or Ms. Kim?
No, Your Honor, nothing further.
Okay, at this time, Ms. Smith is gonna receive a $3,500 surety bond. She is to have no further contact with the victim, last name Stewart, and she must stay away from that address on Hemingway Lane. She can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get any items. She is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond. She will be reset to the SAP calendar where contact could be revisited at that time.
Your Honor, can I say something else before you finish? Is that okay?
Ms. Stewart, I've heard from you. I understand your position and I'm not going to change it. Unless you're speaking about the nature of where you're living, I believe we've heard from you at this time. All right,
Okay.
thank you. Best of luck to you both. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, we're gonna go to position number 1, Mr. Christopher Allen.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Allen. Your case, Mr. Allen, is 22 CR 0010600Y, in which you're charged with battery, family violence, and criminal trespass and damage to property with an offense dated February the 24th of 2022. You've heard me advise you of your constitutional rights. Do you object to the video hearing today?
No.
And do you object to your attorney, Ms. Kim, assisting you by video?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Howard?
7 total. Last arrest 2018. Possession of a controlled substance. Possession of drug paraphernalia. Convictions. 2014, possession of a controlled substance conviction. That was out of New York. Last arrest in Georgia, 2014, driving without a valid license. 2012 FTA, not prosecuted. Dismissed marijuana from 2012. 2011 marijuana dismissed. That's
Okay, thank you. At this time, who's assigned to this case?
Deputy Falk, Your Honor. I'll be
Oh, it
here.
is you, Ms. Falk. I'm used to you acting in a different capacity. Good to see you. All right, Ms. Falk, what is the state's recommendation for Mr. Allen's bond?
Your Honor, our recommendation at this time is a $3,000 surety bond on the battery, a $500 surety bond on the criminal trespass, for a total of a $3,500 surety bond. We are requesting that he stay away from 3499 Garfield Way, Southeast Atlanta. No further contact with Sylvia Mitchell, that is Sylvia, Mitchell common spelling, as well as a one-day anger awareness and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. The basis for the state's recommendation, Your Honor, is this incident happened yesterday and involved Miss Mitchell, who is the mother of the defendant. This was actually, when the arrest happened, it was actually the second time that Miss Mitchell called the police out to her residence. She called the police out to the residence earlier that day because the defendant and herself had been in a verbal and physical dispute. She had to call the police. She asked the police to have him leave. They asked him to, and he did, but he then returned later on, walked into the house, began arguing with Miss Mitchell, and then punched Miss Mitchell and threw her up against a wall, causing her to fall. Then he also broke her bedroom window and lamp. At that point, she ran outside to get away from him, locked herself in her car to call the police, and the defendant left before the police arrived. The officers did observe a black and red eye to Miss Mitchell, as well as that her arms were red up and down her arms. The defendant was found walking down the street and was arrested. Initially, he said he didn't do anything, but then he told the officers that they were just having verbal arguments, and what he described as a small tussle happened, but nothing more. The officers also noted that there were no injuries to the defendant, only to his mother. That is the reason for the $3,500 surety bond, Your Honor. Our concerns are mainly that this defendant had been asked to leave the premises, and this was gleaned from the police report that we received after we received the warrants and filed the accusations. So we will be adding a charge of criminal trespass because he returned to the address after being asked to leave by police and then assaulted his mother.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Falk. Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Allen is 30 years old. We do not object any of those conditions whatsoever. He accepts those. However, he's working for his job from like September 21, so he does not have much savings at this point. We do understand that he has a different kinds of charges from other states. However, nothing is related to a simple battery or any kind of criminal trespass. So we would like to request for, and he's not a flight risk because he has a son who is 6 years old. And even though he's not married, he has son's mother who's here, who's taking care of the child together, even though he's a single father. He has uncle, cousins, and parents here in Georgia. And he really want to keep his job to build a window. With this job, and he really got to take care of his son. So we would like to request for maximum $500 signature bond if surety bond is not, signature bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. At this time, in light of the information before me, I am going to accept the state's recommendation. Mr. Allen is going to receive a $3,000 surety bond on count 1, a $500 surety bond on count 2. He must stay away from the address on Garfield Way, have no further contact with the victim, last name Mitchell. He is to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, but I will not require the anger awareness course at this time. Is there anything further from either party?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Thank you. If
That's
not,
5,000, right?
No, 3,500, 3,000, count 1, 500, count 2.
My bad.
All right, thank you, and best of luck to you, Mr. Allen. We can move to the next position.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. What was that bond amount again?
3,000, count 1, 500, count 2.
Thank you.
All right.
We got position number 3, Mr. Matthew Deschenwa.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr.
Deschenwa.
Deschenwa.
Sir, come on.
Sir, please come forward quickly.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize.
Thank you. Good
Go
afternoon,
ahead, Your
Mr.
Honor.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Deschenwa. Your case is 22 CR 0010618, in which you're charged possession and use of drug-related objects with an offense date of the 24th of February. You've heard me advise you of your constitutional rights. Do you
Yes, ma'am.
object to the video hearing today?
No, ma'am.
And do you object to your attorney assisting you by video?
No, ma'am.
All right, I understand that Ms. Kim is not assigned to this case. Who's assigned to this case?
Mr. Benchita, Your Honor. Great
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Benchita. Good to see you. And do you object to Mr. Benchita assisting you by video? Thank you. All right, Mr. Howard, I've spoken with you previously. We'll go right to Ms. Falk. Ms. Falk, the state's recommendation. You're muted, Ms. Falk. That's
My
okay.
apologies. I thought I pushed it. I had not. The state's recommendation is a $3,000 signature bond. We are asking, I know that pretrial usually does not take these cases, but I will lay out a reason why we are asking for that bond to be through pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a stay away from the co-defendants Curtis White, common spelling for both names, Greg Brown, common spelling for both names, and Dante Plummer, DANTE PLUMMER. Your Honor, this incident happened where the officers had stopped a white Mercedes at the location of Central Villa Drive and Campbellton Road for failing to stop at a stop sign. Officers spoke to the driver, who was not the defendant, and smelled the odor of marijuana in the vehicle and observed a handgun in plain view between the two rear passengers. One of the rear passengers was the defendant. In the trunk of the vehicle, officers located a backpack containing a glass pipe and 2 syringes along with residue. The defendant did claim the drug paraphernalia in the trunk, but claimed he got it from a friend. He also then claimed the handgun in plain view, which officers suspected was actually belonged to Mr. White, who is a convicted felon. The defendant has kind of a checkered history. He has a theft by shoplifting in, we had a charge for him in New Mexico in 2014 for theft by shoplifting, but didn't show a disposition. The reason the state is requesting a bond through pretrial is because of his FTA arrest in East Ellijay, which was East Ellijay Municipal Court in March of 2021, as well as his theft by shoplifting arrest in Cobb County in March of 2021. I believe the theft by shoplifting is still open. Additionally, although the defendant only had syringes and a glass pipe, his cohorts had, there was basically a multitude of drugs in the vehicle, which caused everyone in the vehicle to get arrested as each of them claimed their individual drugs in the vehicle. So we do have some concerns based on his most recent arrest, his FTA, and the group he was running with, just to be, blunt, that he needs some more monitoring than just a signature bond alone. But we also recognize the charge is not so severe as to request a surety bond.
All right, thank you, Ms. Falk. Mr. Benchita?
Yes, Your Honor. We would agree with the signature bond. My client took accountability for what he claimed was his. He doesn't really know the other people that were arrested, so just wrong time catching a ride. So we would agree. We would go agree with the signature bond in this matter, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Howard, I'd like you to weigh in on monitoring through pretrial. I know you would do it if I order it, but just curious about your thoughts and ability to take this case if that's what I decide to do.
I mean, it's possession of jury later object.
Okay.
He wasn't recommended for a signature bond in general because he's a multi-state offender. But
Okay. All right. Thank you. I got you. Mr. This defendant is going to receive a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services per judge. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of his bond. He is to have no further contact with any of the co-defendants. I believe there was last name White, last name Plummer, and Ms. Falk. What was the other last name? Were they both White?
No, Your Honor, it was Curtis White,
Okay.
Greg Brown, and Dante Plummer.
Okay. He is to have no further contact with any of those defendants. Is there anything that I have not addressed as part of this ruling?
how much was that?
3,000?
And I believe you did say no alcohol, drugs, or weapons,
I did.
correct? Okay,
Yeah.
that is all for the state, Your Honor.
All right. Anything
that's-
further, Mr. Benchita?
That's it, Your Honor.
All right.
So that's
Mr.
per
Howard, you were
judge
saying, yes, per judge.
and per Assistant Solicitor General Falk.
Deputy Solicitor General Falk.
Yeah, that right there.
Mr. Howard, thank you.
We'll place Ms. Falk's name first.
Please do.
All right, we can move to the next position.
Position number 5, Mr. Hatcher, Anthony Hatcher.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Hatcher. Your case is 22 CR 001055J, in which you're charged with criminal trespass with an offense date of April the 19th of 2021. I've advised you of your rights. Do you object to the video hearing or to your attorney, Ms. Kim, appearing by video to help you today?
No.
All right, thank you, Mr. Howard. Mr. Howard, if you're speaking, you are muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah, I was speaking.
Okay, we
20
missed all of that. Please start again. Before you start though, actually, can someone give me the incident location? What is the incident location for the trespass?
6095 Schroeder Circle, Fairburn.
Is this a business or a home?
It's a residence, Your Honor, but we are not asking for a stay away since this is the residence of the defendant's daughter who is not the victim.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Howard.
23 total. Last arrest was 2009 trespass, NOD, 2008 FTA for theft by receiving, not prosecuted, 2007 obstruction, probation violation for simple battery. That came off of a 2005 case, 05 CR 307775. 06 FTAs, NOD, another 06 theft by receiving, 2 counts of failure to appear, dismissed. That's all.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened on April 21st of last year. Miss Janiya Pope, and that is Janiya, Pope, common spelling. Her uncle and herself, she was actually talking on the cell phone to her friends at her uncle's daughter's home when the uncle became upset about what she was saying on the phone. He then got into her face, threw his hands at her as though he was going to strike her, but instead he snatched her iPhone 7, walked out to the back porch and threw it to the ground, causing it to crack. The defendant, when he was initially questioned, he actually tried to deny knowing who Miss Pope was, but then finally admitted that he in fact knew who she was. The current bond on this defendant is a $2,500 surety bond. The state would agree to lower that bond to a $1,000 surety bond. That's really based on the lack of history since 2008. We are requesting a no further contact with Janiya Pope. We are not requesting a stay away, again, due to the address being the address of his daughter and not Miss Pope. And we are requesting 1-day anger awareness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hatcher is 60 years old. Actually, he is currently disabled. He gets a Social Security check from disabled, and he has to take medicine for his congested heart failure condition. It's a very serious disease that he must take medicine. However, he is not able to get it at the jail at this point. According to Mr. Hatcher, that medical condition actually impacts his memories, so he does not remember things that well. And considering that I would like to you to consider that he does not have much income other than that disability checks, Your Honor. So we would like to request for signature bond for this, because all those charges were from, the last one was 2009. Everything else was before 2009, and I don't think he should be punished for old things that happened more than decades ago. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm inclined to agree with Ms. Kim. Mr. Hatcher is going to receive a $5,000 signature bond through the jail. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and he is to have no further contact with the victim, last name Pope. Is there anything further from either party?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Hatcher. We can move to the next defendant.
Position number 7, Mr. Damon Hill, position number 7.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Hill. I'm Judge Melanie Williams. Your case is 22 CR 001053J, in which you're charged with battery with an offense date of February the 24th of 2022. You've heard me advise you of your rights. Do you object to the video hearing today or to your attorney assisting you by video?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Oh, I have recommended. So we'll go straight to Ms. Mitchell. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, the state's recommendation is going to be a $3,000 surety bond. No further contact with Miss Shante, spelled Shonte, Rozier, spelled Rozier. A 1-day anger awareness course, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, stated in the police report, the defendant battered Miss Rozier by pulling her out of her vehicle, resulting in bruising on her face and hand. It started with a verbal dispute about Miss Rozier not wanting to have sex with the defendant. Defendant got upset and threw Miss Rozier out of the vehicle, causing her to fall, and she ended up striking her face. Her face struck the concrete. Miss Rozier sustained marks and bruising on her face near the mouth area. The defendant admitted to officers to pulling Miss Rozier out of his vehicle. Your Honor, the state's concern here is that the defendant does have some violent history with a battery, simple battery, family violence, and simple battery charges in the 90s. Our victim advocate spoke with Miss Rozier, and she did state that they don't live together, they are not in a relationship, and they share no children, but that she does not want contact, and she will not be at the Zoom meeting today.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hill is 45 years old, and the incident location is actually his place. Miss Rosier, the complaining witness, never lived there, so I don't think stay away from that location is necessary at all. And he has a strong ties to the community. He has been here for about 41 years, and he works at 2 jobs: warehouse during the day. During the weekends, he also works as a shuttle driver for hotels. On February 23, 2022, one day before the arrest, his grandmother passed away, and he has been a main caretaker for his grandmother. And because of that, the sister from Texas came to help out the funeral situation right now. And I think he really needs to go and take care of that issue, the funeral, and he has to agree properly. And as you said, as Miss Michelle said, the last simple battery assault that happened 1990, that's like almost 30 years ago, 32 years ago, Your Honor. We would like to request for a signature bond so he can get out and take care of his grandmother's passing away, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, Ms. Mitchell, was there a stay away address that you requested? What was the stay away?
No, I did
I
not.
didn't think so. I wanted to clarify that point. All right, thank you. At this time, Mr. Hill is going to receive a $6,000 signature bond through pretrial services. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of his bond. He must complete the 1-day anger awareness program, and he is to have no further contact with the victim, last name Rozier. Is there anything further?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, best of luck to you. We can move to the next position.
Your Honor, we have position number 9, Mr. Timothy Kelly, position number 9.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Kelly. Your case is 22 CR 001058Y, in which you're charged with simple assault with an offense date of May the 6th of 2021. You've heard me advise you of your constitutional rights. Do you object to the video hearing today or to your attorney assisting you by video?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Recommended first arrest is what I have. That's correct, Mr. Howard?
Yeah, yes, that's what I have.
Okay, just making sure. Whose case is this for the state? Is it you, Ms. Mitchell, Ms. Falk?
Your Honor, it just took me a moment. It is, if this is Mr. Kelly, it is myself.
Okay.
The state's recommendation on this case, Your Honor, is a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial and 1-day anger awareness. We are also asking that he have no further contact with the victim. That is Christy Kelly, Kristy. This actually was an incident that was reported on February 23rd of 2022, but Ms. Kelly reported that the incident happened, I believe, based on the information we have, on May 6, 2021. She stated that she and the defendant, her husband at the time, were, and I believe they are still legally married, were arguing at the residence of 119 Olive Street, Roswell, and the defendant threw a remote at her while she was getting up to walk away. The remote did not actually strike Miss Kelly, but she does believe that his intention was to hit her with that remote control. This is the defendant's first offense, which is the reason for the state's recommendation. We have spoken to the victim. She stated that they are married, but do not live together anymore. She stated she has not had any contact with him since this incident, but she does fear retaliation based on this most recent arrest, and she is requesting no contact.
Thank you. Ms. Kim, any objection to the signature bond or to the state's recommendation?
The thing that we would like to make an exceptional note is they are going through divorce right now. So when they have to meet at the court for the final hearing, or if they have to do any other settlement hearing with other attorneys, I believe that they have to have some kind of contact just to finalize the divorce. So other than that, we do not have any objection.
All right, Thank
So,
you.
Your Honor, based on that, the state will modify our request that they can have contact when accompanied by their attorneys.
Okay, I'm thinking third-party contact or an accompaniment type situation. At this time, Mr. Kelly is going to receive a $2,000 signature bond for pretrial services. He does need to complete the one-day anger awareness program. He is to have no further contact with the victim, last name Kelly, unless accompanied by attorneys, but he may contact her through a third party for the purposes of completing his divorce. All right, and he is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of his bond.
Thank you, Your
Is there
Honor.
anything further from either party?
No, Your Honor.
All right, best
Nothing
of luck
further,
to you,
Your Honor.
Mr. Kelly.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
We got position number 2, Mr. Corey
Okay, thank you.
Corigliano.
Pronounce your last name for me, sir.
Corigliano.
Korea,
Corigliano. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Corigliano. Your case is 22 CR 001051A. And once you're charged with violating a family violence protective order with an offense date of February the 24th of 2022. You've been advised of your constitutional rights. Do you object to the video hearing or to your attorney, Ms. Kim, assisting you by video?
no, I don't.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Howard,
Second arrest. I see a 2016 battery, DV, 2 counts, 1 count battery, 1 count disorderly conduct out of DeKalb County. They were dismissed. They got a TPO that was issued March 23rd, 2020.
all right. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Mitchell, the state's recommendation.
Our recommendation is going to be a $3,000 signature bond, no further contact with the victim, Miss Christine, spelled CHRISTINE, Tenley, spelled TENLEY. Stay away from the address 9830 Terrace Lake Point, Roswell, Georgia, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, the defendant violated the Family Violence Protective Order from 2020, case number 2020 CV 334635, by being in direct contact with Ms. Tenley, who's defendant's present spouse. Specifically, they appear to be living together at this time, or at least under the same roof that evening. Yeah, that's going to be the basis of our recommendation. We're giving a signature bond.
And can you give me that stay away address one more time, Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, 9830 Terrace Lake Point, Roswell.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, I do not object to the signature bond. We would like to take that. Only thing is though, we need some exception for that. Once the TPO is modified, I would like to make him to have a contact with his wife, because her wife had an accident and she has a PTSD, and he has been the one who has been giving the medicine to her. So unless there's somebody else who can be her caretaker to give the medicine on time, she really needs his help. And also the 9830 Terrace Lake place, they live together at this point. So stay away from that instant location is very hard. So as soon as they modify the TPO state, they have a motion to modify that TPO, we would like to allow them to live together and have a contact as long as there's no violent contact, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if the state may add that our victim advocate was able to speak with Ms. Tenley, and she did state that she didn't want contact with him and she's afraid of him, but now we're a little concerned about her mental state, being that she needs medication. We're just not really sure what's actually going on at this point.
So are you modifying the state's recommendation at this time, Ms. Mitchell, or
No, I just wanted to let you know that the victim specifically stated to us that she does not want any contact with him and that she is afraid of him.
And also in light of the fact that there's a TPO, Ms. Kim, I am going to accept the state's recommendation. I understand your concerns, but those appear speculative at this time, and those can be addressed later by a division judge. So what we're gonna do is Mr. Corigliano is gonna receive the $3,000 signature bond through pretrial services. Per judge, he needs to complete the 1-day anger awareness course. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol. He is to have no further contact with the victim, last name Tinley. I am going to order that stay away from the address on Terrace Lake Place. He can return one time with a member of law enforcement to get his items. Mr. Corigliano, I see that you're raising your hand. I want you to understand that you still do have the absolute right to remain silent, and I don't want you to inadvertently say something that may interfere with Ms. Kim's ability to represent you. I think the best thing for you to do is to contact your attorney regarding any questions you have, unless it's a very specific question about the bond order that I just
First
issued.
of all, one
All right.
was after I don't talk for defending my wife because she is an attorney.
Mr. Corigliano, I
Mr.
don't want you to say something. The best thing to do is give Ms. Kim a call, okay?
Yes, please give me a call.
Please give Ms. Kim a call following this proceeding, all right?
Thank you.
All right, we can go to the next position at the jail. Best of luck to you, Mr. Corigliano.
What was that bond amount again, Your Honor?
$3,000 signature bond through pretrial services per judge.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, who do we have next?
We got Mr. Gofan, Robert Gofan, position number 4.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Gofan.
Good afternoon, Judge.
Okay, I am Judge Melanie Williams. Your case is 22 CR 001062G, in which you're charged with 1 count of battery and 1 count of giving false information to a law enforcement officer, each with offense dates of February the 24th of 2022. You've heard me advise you of your constitutional right to remain silent and your right to an attorney at this proceeding. Do you object to the video hearing today, or do your attorney assisting you by video?
No, Judge.
Thank you. Ms. Kim, is this your client?
No, Your
Or is
Honor, this
Mr.
is mine
Mr. Ben
again.
Sheeta? Okay,
Yes,
thank you. Wanted to clarify that. All right, Ms. Falk. Oh, actually, let's go to Mr. Howard. I apologize. I thought that this one was recommended. I see it is not. Mr. Howard.
55 total. History out of Georgia and South Carolina. 2015 failure to appeal. 2016 failure to appeal. 2017 criminal domestic violence conviction. What else? Saw another. 2018 criminal domestic violence. Neglect by legal custodian. Those were dismissed as far as the Georgia history. Oh, hold on. He had a 2019 arrest by ICE for theft or burglary offense. I got a criminal trespass conviction, September 2021. 2013 trespass conviction. 2013 possession of drug-related objects conviction. 2012 probation violation. I got burglary residential, misdemeanor obstruction, battery, criminal trespass conviction from 2010. That was out of Savannah. You want more?
No, that's good. Thank you. I've got a clear picture. Ms. Falk.
Yes, Your Honor. There was a call out to this location in regards to a fight call on February 24th. Officers received a description of the defendant. His clothing was given over the radio and the defendant was detained. A witness was contacted. The defendant was detained and brought back to the scene of the crime. A witness did provide officers a completely, like, from what I can understand, uninvolved witness provided officers with cell phone footage showing the defendant on top of the victim, whose name is Blake, Blake, Zengo, Zengo. And the defendant was punching Mr. Zengo in the chest and nose and biting him. Mr. Zengo had bleeding and bite marks to his person and had to actually be transported to the Atlanta Medical Center for treatment. And when questioned, the defendant gave the officers the false date of birth of September 10th, 1995. His real date of birth is September 15th, 1983. Your Honor, as pretrial has accurately stated, this defendant is 39 years of age and has more cycles than he has years on this earth. He has the charges, he has 45 cycles out of Georgia. They span from 2000 to 2021. He has 10 cycles out of South Carolina spanning from 2015 to 2019. And then he has an ICE arrest for theft or burglary and non-immigrant overstay in 2019 as well. And I kind of missed this from pretrial, but I was able to find that he has an October 2017 domestic violence third degree, in addition to that criminal DV case out of South Carolina that then was dismissed in 2019. He also has a battery out of Chatham County from 2012, and again, those FTAs in 2015 and 2016. These all add up to a person who is, a danger not only to the person he injured, Mr. Zango, but to the general population at large. And additionally, we are concerned about the flight risk, the fact that ICE did arrest him at one point for a non-immigrant overstay, and that case at this point has not been disposed of in any way. There hasn't been an adjudication one way or the other at this point of that case. Based on that, we are asking for a $5,000 surety bond, $4,000 on the battery, $1,000 on the giving false name. We are further asking that he have no further contact whatsoever with Blake Zango. We are also asking for a no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We are not requesting a stay away from the address where this incident occurred, which was 157 North Avenue, as this appears to have been a beating in broad daylight on the street.
Understood, Ms. Falk. Thank you. Mr. Benchita?
Yes, Your Honor. So my client is 38 years old. Your Honor, basically, he has no one there for him. He is from Liberia, so West Africa. He's disabled. He's fighting for his disability check. So right now he's homeless and has been since last March. The bond that is being requested by the state is not one that he's going to be able to make at all. Normally in these situations, of course, before hearing pretrial, I would ask for a signature bond, but I understand where the court's probably going to stand on that. I just asked for a more reasonable bond, Your Honor. I just know he's not going to be able to make that. I don't know if there's any situation where if pretrial will do it or anything to do maybe, Your Honor, if possible, can we do a breakout about this case?
Your Honor, I just received information from the defense that does require us to have a breakout.
Okay. If we could be placed in a breakout, Ms. Falk, Mr. Benchita, myself, Ms. Grace, are there any other parties that need
Yes,
to be?
I would like to be there too.
Ms. Kim would like
Yes,
to be in
ma'am.
the breakout as well,
Yes, ma'am.
and I have no objection. If we could be placed in a breakout, please. All right, I'm sending messages to make sure that we are placed in that breakout room, please. Ms. Grace, are you there with me? Ms. Grace? Melissa?
Yes,
Do you
Judge.
mo-
let me
do
get
you-
Mr. Yes, let
Yes,
me
will
get
you
Mr.
please
George.
check and see if someone can get
Yes.
us into this breakout?
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm sure will be placed in there very shortly. I think I have some indication of what will be said. Um, All right, I believe everyone is back from the breakout. At this time, Mr. Gofran is going to receive a $3,500 surety bond. Evaluations will be conducted as discussed in breakout. He will be reset to the SAP calendar on March the 10th. Should he make bond, he is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol, and he is to have no further contact with the victim, last name Zango. Are there any conditions that have not been approved? It's gonna be a $3,500 bond. I'm sorry, let's break it down. It'll be 3,000 on the battery charge and 500 on the giving the false information. All right, I believe that concludes Mr. Gofran's case. Best of luck to you, Mr. Gofran. Let's get to the next position.
We got position number 6, Mr. Shakir Henry.
Okay.
Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Henry, good afternoon. Your case is 22 CR 001052E, in which you're charged with giving a false name to law enforcement, giving a false report as part of an application, driving under the influence of alcohol, and driving under the influence of alcohol as safe, making an illegal stop as well, each with offense dates of February the 24th of 2022. I've advised you of your constitutional rights and your right to an attorney at this proceeding. Do you object to the video hearing or to your attorney assisting you by video?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Howard?
His 10th arrest. He's on probation.
It's my third arrest.
Don't, Mr. Henry, don't say anything. We'll speak with your attorney. I don't want you to inadvertently say something.
I got 10 cycles because of I guess because of him giving a false name. I ain't gonna tell how many he got really. But based on the history I have, last arrest was in 2021, probation violation. Before that was I got a March 9th, 2021 DUI out of Kennesaw. 2018 probation violation, 2017 probation violation, another 2017, and another one.
Is that for the right defendant? Because I have.
I'm not sure because the stuff that I had in the warrant, the stuff I saw in the warrant,
Yeah.
I guess because of the name he gave in the warrant, that's what my coworkers ran.
Okay.
Because the pull sheet that I had, it did not have Shakir Henry on it. It actually had the alias on there. So that's probably who my people ran the history for. But I would
Ms.
defer
Mitchell,
to
you have a different history? You're gonna defer to say, Ms. Mitchell, you have a very different history?
Yes, I have 4 cycles, including this case. He convicted of marijuana, less than an ounce, in 2020, where he was given PTD, but it was revoked. And he was convicted of driving with suspended license that was amended to a non-fingerprintable charge in 2020 and a failure to appear in 2020. That's it.
Okay. All right, Ms. Mitchell, what's the state's recommendation?
The state's recommendation as to count 1 is going to be $1,000 surety, count 2, $1,000 surety, count 3, $2,500 surety, count 4, 1,000 surety, and count 5, 1,000 surety. So that's going to total $6,500 surety bond. No driving without provisional license, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. As your honor is aware, the defendant was stopped at a light, partially occupying 2 lanes at an intersection on Warsaw Road and Holcomb Bridge Road, Roswell, Georgia. The traffic light has cycled green 4 times, and the defendant remained stopped that entire time. When officers made contact with the defendant, he was unconscious. An odor of alcohol emanated from his persons and the vehicle he was in. The defendant's eyes were bloodshot and glassy, and his speech was slurred and slowed. The defendant stated he drank 1 beer 2 to 3 hours prior to the stop. The defendant was also unable to walk straight. He was unsteady and swayed left to right. The defendant submitted to a breath test. Officers took 2 samples. Both had a BAC of 0.132. And during the traffic stop, defendant provided the name and license of Dimitri, spelled Demetri, Dorsley, spelled Dorcely, who's likely his friend, to officers. Our concerns is that, well, I already stated the history, so that's going to be that, along with the allegations stated. That's going to be the basis of our recommendation, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Kim?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Henry is 25 years old, and he actually, if the warrant clearly says that he was unconscious, so there was no intention to give any kind of false ID to the officer. So false date of birth that it was given, first identity, or illegal stops. We would like to request for signature bond for those, because he did not have any intentional action. Those are not his intentions at all. And he has been here in Georgia for 8 years, and his siblings are here, and he has a job as a bartender here in Sandy Springs. So I don't think that he's a flight risk. He even goes to Chattahoochee Technical University, and he's studying business manager right now. He has done already 3 years. There's only 1 year left. So he would like to continue and finish it. So we want to ask for the DUI charge, $1,000 surety bond for that one. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Hold one moment. All right, at this time, Mr. Henry is going to receive a $5,000 surety bond broken down as follows. It'll be $250 on count one, $250 on count two, $3,000 on count three, $500 on count four, and $1,000 on count five. By my math, that equals $5,000. He is to have no driving without a provisional license issued by the Georgia DDS. And he is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anything further from either party?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Henry. We can move to the next position.
We have position number 8, Mr. Aaron Horton.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Horton. Your case is 22 CR 001054E, in which you're charged with battery family violence with an offense date of November the 2nd of 2021. You've been advised of your constitutional rights. Do you object to the video hearing today? Do you object to your attorney assisting you by video? All right, Mr. Howard, I'm most interested in violence and FTAs.
I'm about to send you something in the chat.
Okay. If you send it, you may have sent it to my other login on the screen. Let me check.
That was 2017
Okay.
case. He gets off of probation for that in 2028.
Okay.
8 total arrests. Last was 2016 for that. 2015 marijuana possession. 2012 aggravated assault conviction. Hold on. He was found not guilty in 2011 for terrorist threats. And that's it as far as violence.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor, the state's going to recommend a $5,000 cash bond, no further contact with the victim, Latebet, spelled Latavettete, Betts, spelled Betts. Stay away from the address 3390 Fairburn Road, Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia. A one-day anger awareness course, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, in this case, on November 2nd of 2021, the defendant battered his girlfriend he lives with, Miss Betts, by striking her in the face, causing a swelling to her face. It started when the defendant got upset when he saw Miss Betts receiving money from her child's father after going through her phone. When Miss Betts tried to roll over in bed, defendant struck her. Miss Betts was hit so hard she thought she had a broken jaw. She went to the hospital the next day to get it checked, and she was advised it wasn't broken, but that she did have a swollen cheek as a result of the assault. Miss Betts stated defendant came back later that day to get his stuff when another verbal dispute continued that led to the defendant pinning Miss Betts down on the ground by her neck. The defendant also threatened to kill himself if Miss Betts called the police. Your Honor, the state's concern here is defendant's risk of reoffending. The defendant is a convicted felon with some serious charges. He was convicted in 2017. I'm just going to defer to pretrial's information he's provided to you, along with hit and run, speeding, etc., for that charge in 2017. He was also convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and battery, where he shot at 3 people and struck a woman in the face. He was also convicted of burglary, where he broke into another woman's home. And we have that he was convicted of terroristic threats against another woman, where he did threaten to kill her. And all 3 of those happened in 2013. On his 2018 convictions, he did receive a total bond of $70,000 surety. And Your Honor, we recognize that in our current case that our bond is extreme, but it's necessary. It's necessary because, Your Honor, the defendant in this case, he's 28 years old, and within the last 10 years, I won't sound the other conviction, but he's shot at people, two of them being women. He's struck another woman. He's threatened to kill another woman. And the risk of defendant reoffending at this point is substantially high. And it's only a matter of time before he commits another crime, especially a violent one against any person. So at this point, if he's going to want to get out, he's going to have to pay out. We're also concerned with witness intimidation in this case. Our victim advocate had a chance to speak with Ms. Betts, and we have serious concerns being that she completely changed her story. Ms. Betts stated that they just had a child together 3 days ago. The facts in the report were inaccurate, according to her, and that what really happened was that her and another female got into a fight, and the defendant was trying to break that fight up, and the female hit her, but she thought it was the defendant, so she told officers defendant hit her. We know the defendant is a dangerous man, just based off his history, and this is not the first time he's attacked a woman. So we are concerned that, especially if they do have a child together, that witness intimidation will be an issue in this case. Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. At this time, I'm going to sound for the victim. Last name, I believe it's Betts. If you are present on the screen and would like to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so.
Yes, I'm here. It's not a
Ms.
witness.
Betts, if you would like, you have to be able to turn on your camera so that we can identify you. So do you have the ability? There you are. All right. Do you want to make a statement? You are not required to do so.
Yes, I would like to.
All right. Please raise your right hand. Please swear and affirm. I'm sorry. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
All right. What would you like to tell the court today?
Well, it's not an intimidation thing. I've been dealing with him for almost over 10 years. It's nothing. He's not intimidating me to say this, but I really was upset because he had another woman in my house. That's really what happened. The story changed because I fairly realized like I'm getting him in something that didn't happen. The girl did hit me. We was fighting, but we have a 3-day-old baby together. My baby's in the ICU now, like fighting for her life, and like I don't have no help. Like he's my only help. Like he worked both his jobs. Like we haven't. This our first time ever getting into any incident, anything. Like he's always have been my help since I've been dealing with him. Like, and our child is in the hospital. Like, and I don't think that $5,000 like that's a high bond. Like if they would have gave him something a little less, like a surety bond, that I can help him pay because like I'm gonna need his help with our baby. Our baby having health problems and all. Like we just had our baby 3 days ago.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate you making that statement to the court. All right, Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor. They currently live together, and actually, Mr. Horton is the sole breadwinner here, as we all heard. The Beth, who is no longer complaining, she had a baby, and the rent is $14.50 per month, and basically, Mr. Horton has 2 jobs. To drive forklift to make sure that he can pay for the bills for the household. So we would like to request for surety bond instead of cash bond, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. At this time, Mr. Horton is going to receive a $8,500 surety bond. He is to have no further violent contact with the victim. Although unorthodox, I want him to attend a 1-day anger awareness program. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond.
Thank you, Your
Is
Honor.
there anything further from either party?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Horton. Who do we have next?
Your Honor, I got position number 10, Mr. Andre Shaw, position number 10.
All right, good afternoon, Mr. Shaw. Your case is 22 CR 001056C, in which you're charged with battery with an offense date of February the 23rd. You've heard your constitutional rights and you've been advised of them. You object to the video hearing today.
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. And do you object to your attorney assisting you by video?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard?
This is fifth arrest. Last arrest was 2012 for DUI. Oh, hold on. Yeah, 2012 for DUI. 2 counts.
Okay.
That was a conviction. Yeah, battery that was dismissed from 2011, ag assault conviction. And a 2010 simple battery family violence obstruction. They were NODs.
Okay.
Dropping charges.
All right, thank you. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, the state's bond recommendation is going to be a $4,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Curices, spelled Curices, Oliver, common spelling, a stay away from the address 41 Stratford Drive, Atlanta, Georgia. 1-day anger awareness course, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, according to the police report, defendant battered Miss Oliver by punching her in the eye and mouth, causing her eye to swell and bleeding from her mouth. It started when the defendant invited Miss Oliver to his place. As she was getting ready to leave to go charge her phone because the defendant did not want her to leave. That's when he attacked her. Based on the conversation Miss Oliver had with our victim advocate, she informed us that she went to the emergency room and suffered a contusion on her left eye and a sprain on her left arm that's currently in a sling. The defendant also admitted to punching Miss Oliver in the mouth to the officer. Your Honor, our concern here is the defendant's risk of reoffending based on him having a previous aggravated assault conviction in 2012. I will amend the recommendation and take the stay away out because I believe in this case that was his home and she doesn't live there.
Okay, and the
Nothing further.
victim's last name again?
Oliver.
Oliver, okay. Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. I'm gonna sound before I go to Ms. Kim for the victim last name Oliver. Is Ms. Oliver present on the screen today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and your name, ma'am?
Sharice Oliver.
All right, Ms. Oliver, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, ma'am.
What would you like to tell the court at this time?
I feel this gentleman is a threat to society. There's no way possible that you can just beat a woman to a pulp for no specific reason. I had to scream for help and run for my life. I ran and left my shoes. I ran barefooted trying to get away from him. He tried to bust the windows on my car, threw a brick at my car, chased me down from a simple conversation of me trying to leave and go home. I never seen and experienced nothing like that. I don't trust him being on the streets, period. I really fear for my life because this is a repeated thing. This is a repeated action with him from females, apparently.
Thank you, Ms. Oliver. I appreciate that testimony. Ms. Kim.
Yes, Your Honor, he is 35 years old and he has been here in Georgia for all his life. And he has a twins, 4 years old twins, boy and girl. And he has a mother and father, and father passed away 2000, but his mother's here. He has a really good ties to the community. He works at Goodwill. And only thing is though, that 41 Stratford Drive is actually the house where mom and he, Mr. Shaw, live together. So Miss Oliver does not live there at all. And stay away from his own home is not necessary at this point because she is not going to be coming that place at all. And he does not mind never ever having any other contact with her either. So we would like to request for the stay away to be removed from the bond condition. And also those battery happened more than 10 years ago. And we would like to request for a lower surety bond of $1,000. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. At this time, Mr. Shaw is going to receive a $5,000 surety bond He is to have no further contact with the victim, last name Oliver. He is to have no weapons, drugs, or alcohol as a condition of this bond.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anything further from either party?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next? I guess it's the last person, Mr. Willis. Is that correct?
That's it, Your Honor. Yes.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Willis. Your case is 22 CR 001059D, in which you're charged with criminal trespass, family violence with an offense date of June the 30th, 2021. I've advised you of your rights. Do you object to the video?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Do you object to your attorney assisting you by video?
No, ma'am, I do not.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard?
13 total. Got a 2018 arrest out of Tennessee, fugitive from Clayton County. As far as Georgia, 2019 FTA for DUI, 2 counts. Appear to be on probation in the cab for robbery. 2019, they gave him 5 years probation. I counted 4 probation violations in his history. 2019 battery DV dismissed.
Okay. You know, that was my next question. Anything violent? Okay.
That's the only
That's
violent
all.
arrest he had.
All right. Thank you. I think that's good, Mr. Howard. I appreciate that. Ms. Mitchell?
Yes, Your Honor. The recommendation in this case is going to be a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with the victim, Adira, spelled Adira, Harris, common spelling, a stay away from the address 1005 Baldwin Street, Southwest, Atlanta, Georgia, a one-day anger awareness course, and no alcohol, drugs, and weapons. Your Honor, the police report states that on June 30th of 2021, the defendant damaged Ms. Harris's iPhone 11 by smashing it to the floor and breaking the screen. Ms. Harris is defendant's ex-girlfriend, mother of their child, and they lived together at the time of the incident. The officer determined that the damage to the phone was less than $500. However, that was what was in the warrant. In the police report, it states that it started when Ms. Harris told the defendant that he could no longer live there. The defendant became irate and started to destroy the entire apartment by breaking things. The defendant poured bleach on her business products, which includes eyelashes, wigs, mirrors, and chemicals, valued at $2,500, and then smashed her iPhone 11 valued at $1,000. Your Honor, our concern here is defendant's risk of reoffending. He is a convicted felon with some violent history. He was convicted of robbery 2019, burglary 2016, and has a battery family violence charge in 2019. We're also concerned he's a flight risk. Defendant's history shows a high probability of defendant fleeing, being that a majority of his history consists of failure to appears and probation violations. Defendant has 2 failure to appears in 2019, a fugitive from Clayton County, Georgia charge in Tennessee in 2018, and 4 probation violations. The defendant has had both his probation and first offender acts revoked. And Your Honor, the actual amount of damages is pending further investigation, provided Ms. Harris can provide itemized receipts for the damages she claims in the report. However, for now, we're only moving forward with the screen damage to the phone valued at less than $500. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm going to sound for the victim. Last name Harris. I don't believe I saw her on the screen, but sounding for the victim. If you would like to make a statement, this is your opportunity to do so. All right, hearing none. I'm going to go to you, Mr. Benchita.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Willis, 24 years old. He would live in Rex, Georgia, if he was able to get out. He currently works at a roofing company in Peachtree City as a machine operator. He has joined the union, so he does work for the union. He does have 2 children, ages 2 and 5 months old. Your Honor, he did get his high school diploma. After that, that's when he worked towards getting in the union, which he successfully did. I believe his last arrest I heard was 2019, but that was dismissed. What we're asking for is $1,000 surety. In this matter, it's just trespass, so I'm asking for $1,000 with that. The alleged victim in this matter, Your Honor, I believe she's currently in custody for aggravated assault against Mr. Willis. The reason that he was arrested is because he called the cops against her in this matter, and that's when they told him about this trespass. So he wasn't trying to avoid the law or anything, because if that was the case, he wouldn't have called them. So in this instance, Your Honor, we would ask for a $1,000 bond. He has no problem staying away from the alleged victim in this matter, seeing as I'm sure there's a stay away attached to her aggravated assault domestic against him. They do have children. I don't know how that'll be worked out. But for right now, Your Honor, he's okay with that. So we're going to stand down that and ask for a $1,000 surety bond.
All right, thank you. At this time, Mr. Willis is going to receive a $1,000 surety bond. He's to have no further contact with the victim of this case, last name Harris. He must stay away from the Baldwin Street address. He is to have no weapons, alcohol, or drugs as a condition of this bond. He can arrange the transport of the children through a third party. And if he needs to obtain any items from the stay away address, he can return one time with a member of law enforcement. All right, I believe that concludes Mr. Willis's case. Best of luck to you, Mr. Willis. And courtroom 2, I believe you're completed, so you can be excused. Have a great afternoon. Take care. Question though, are we going to be able to address position 12? Are we going to be able to waive the appearance of that defendant, Ms. Kim? Or will we just be resetting we'll be resetting that defendant till tomorrow?
Yeah, we have to reset to tomorrow, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, I will alert Judge Mincy. I was hoping that I could take care of that today, but unfortunately we cannot. Do we want to review the calendar? All right, Ms. Grace, will you review it for me, please?
Okay. And we're resetting Ms. Williams till tomorrow, Judge.
We are, yes.
Okay, position number 1 is a 3,500 good bond, reset 310 SAP. Position number 2 is a $3,000 pretrial bond per judge, reset further notice. Position number 3 is a $3,000 pretrial bond per judge and deputy solicitor fault, reset further notice. Position number 4 is a 3,500 good bond, reset 31022 SAP. Position number 5 is a 5,000 reset further notice SOB through the jail. Position number 6 is a total of 5,000 good bond, reset 310 SAP. Position number 7 is a $6,000 bond pretrial, reset further notice. Position number 8 is an 8,500 good bond, reset 31022 SAP. Position number 9 is a $2,000 bond, pretrial, reset further notice. Position number 10 is a $5,000 good bond, reset 31022 SAP. Position number 11. Just one moment. 3,500 good bond, reset 31022 SAP. Position number 12 is reset for tomorrow's SEA calendar. Position number 13 is a $1,000 good bond, reset 31022 SAP.
Do we have any comments, changes, corrections, or questions? All right, hearing none, we will be in recess until tomorrow, February the 26th, at which time Judge Mincy will be presiding. Please send any orders and outstanding documents to Ms. Grace for my signature. And I believe that will complete the calendar today. Everyone have a great rest of your afternoon and great rest of your weekend. Take care.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.